Is being recorded. Yep, that should be working. So thank you everyone for joining. So I'm Leah, I work for Arthritis Action, and the aim of today is just really to give you a bit more information about Arthritis Action as a charity and what we do to help people with arthritis, with musculoskeletal pain, and how it can be self-managed, and also a bit more information about the resources we've got as well. I will, after this presentation, Ronan, we've just recently received like a new PDF booklet that's probably a bit more detailed than these slides. So maybe I could send that to you if you think it would be beneficial to circulate as well. So don't feel like you've got to scribble everything down. So there will be kind of follow-up information as well. If you've got questions, please let me know at the end. I can't offer medical information, but I can give kind of a bit of info about our resources and maybe things that help, or if you've got any experiences you want to share, please go for it as well. So here's a bit more about Arthritis Action. So we are a charity that offers practical advice and self-management techniques to help combat the pain of arthritis. It can cause lots of painful swelling and stiffness in the joints. As a charity, we've been running for 80 years. It was actually our 80th anniversary last year. So what we've kind of done is changed within that time, but we still kind of have the premise of different routines and things that people can implement in their daily lives to help manage the pain associated with arthritis and just to get the confidence really to manage a long-term condition. So arthritis is a very common condition. If you have it yourself, you'll know it can cause swelling and pain and stiffness in the joints, and it affects about 1 in 6 people of the population, really. So the 2 types of arthritis you may have heard of are osteoarthritis, which is wear and repair. So a good way to think of that is the joints kind of rubbing together. It can kind of feel like bone on bone. There's not a lot of muscle or fluid surrounding the joints and supporting them, so it can be very painful. So it could be the hips, the knees, the shoulders, different joints within the body. That usually affects people over the age of 45, but that's not to say that younger people won't get it either. And then you also have rheumatoid or other types of inflammatory arthritis, and this is where the immune system attacks the joints, and that can be very painful, and that has a slightly different way. So whilst self-management techniques can still help people manage that, people with inflammatory arthritis might need more of a drug regime from their healthcare professional or rheumatologist. And we've also just recently launched, because this can affect rheumatoid arthritis, can affect people of any age. So we've just recently launched a younger adult hub. So that's basically for anyone working age. We kind of take that up to, because a lot of our kind of original members were older people, but we're kind of doing a lot more to reach people of working age, and there's some really great resources on there. I will go into a bit more detail about the different types of like self-management techniques. And again, if you've got any questions, happy to answer them at the end. So we say self-management a lot as a charity, but what does that actually mean? So if you didn't know already, there's over 200 types of arthritis, which is an awful lot. So because arthritis is like the umbrella term for lots of different musculoskeletal conditions, there's going to be lots of different ones. So this is beyond like osteoarthritis. It can also, arthritis can be a secondary symptom of other autoimmune conditions. So we always say that if people do experience any pain or stiffness that's new for them, it's really important to try and seek help for that. And again, because there's so many different types and how people feel pain, it's all very different. So what works for a friend or relative might not work for you. So even in this call, if there's people with arthritis in their hips, for example, how you feel that and the symptoms you experience might be very different. So please don't compare yourself to others or think, oh, it's not bad enough, I'm not suffering as much as them, or what's going on. You need to really focus on you and how you can manage that pain and set your own pace and goals. You might find the pain only flares up every so often. You might live with like more of a constant feeling of being in pain. So we're just here really to provide the resources to help you find that best approach. So I think this diagram explains it really nicely. So you've got the physical aspects of living with arthritis or managing arthritis, and also the mental aspects. So on the physical side, you've got healthy eating, which is linked in with weight management. I'll go into a little bit more about that later. You've got exercise, and by that we mean physical activity, keeping moving. It's not necessarily anything too strenuous. And then you have clinical support as well. So that could be healthcare professionals like your GP, it could be a physio, it could be an occupational therapist, it could be a pain management service, anyone, rheumatology team. It just really depends. And it's like finding even mental health professionals as well. And then you have pain and fatigue management. So for some people, pain is managed with medication. Like there's also distraction techniques, there's exercise. That's a great way of relieving pain. But again, I'll go into a bit more detail about that in a bit. And then on the mental side, you have positive thinking. So we do understand it's very difficult to be positive, I think, when you're experiencing lots of pain. But it's about looking at what you can do and what you're able to do now. I think we speak to a lot of people and they often say, oh, I used to be able to do this, I used to be able to do that. And it can be really difficult to kind of find that balance of what you can do now without putting too much pressure on yourself. Again, that comes down to like setting targets and pacing. And we all know on days we feel good, we probably get everything done, and then leaving us feeling a bit knackered for the rest of the week. So we kind of look at what's manageable. And again, we've got some really great resources on that. We've got distraction techniques. We often like people talk about more formal ones like deep breathing, guided imagery. But again, it can be anything that you can enjoy and anything that takes your mind off the pain. Communication, I think that's really important. Telling if you have arthritis or know someone that does, like telling people how the arthritis makes you feel, how much pain you're in, what you're able to do that day, and that can really help. Because obviously if people want to be able to help you, they might not understand if they don't know how you're feeling. And again, having that assertive communication with healthcare professionals. And we've got some really great videos about this on our website as well, if you do want to check it out. And then mindfulness, again, that's another distraction technique. So it's just about finding out, you've got all of these different things, but what is it within that works for you? That's the really important thing. Can't change the slide, how strange. I'm just going to stop sharing that because that has frozen. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. So these are just some really nice quotes that we've got from our members about their experiences of living with arthritis. So my favourite one is I've not got my old life back, but I'm learning to enjoy my new life. I think that's the best one, of like looking at what you can do now. And I think being more mindful of that, that's something that's really important. And again, with arthritis, unfortunately, at the moment, there isn't a cure for arthritis, so it's about managing the impact. The pain might not ever go away entirely, but some of the kind of techniques and resources on our website look at what you can do to kind of bring down the levels of pain as well. So I'll go into a bit more detail about some of the things that were on the diagram. So essentially, with diet and arthritis, people used to be told that they had to cut out so many different foods to cure their arthritis. Essentially, that is not the case. Like I said, arthritis at the moment is something that can be managed. So people were told they couldn't eat tomatoes or peppers, and it led to a lot of people cutting out lots of good food out of their diet. So we do have a dietitian that works with us in the charity, and his kind of approach is eating a well-balanced diet and keeping to a healthy weight. That's really important because it can cause pressure on the knees, and that can be very painful. And again, if you were to type diet and arthritis into a search engine, it's a really confusing place. There's millions and billions probably of different hits, full of people probably peddling lots of different supplements or a wonder cure for arthritis. Essentially, please take those with a pinch of salt. People buy into these and they're very expensive, and while supplements might not do the majority of people any harm, again, the evidence to say that they work completely is a bit it's not really out there, really. It's not to say that it will work. Some people, it could also have a placebo effect, and that's completely fine, that's great, but again, it can be very expensive in the long term, because I think a lot of people become scared to stop taking them, in the sense that they think their pain will get worse if they stop taking them. Again, plenty of fruits and vegetables in your diet, and antioxidants for good health, and again, portion sizes, which is linked to weight management. If you do have arthritis, I think we've got some really great recipes on our website that have been developed with somebody that has arthritis. So in terms of food preparation and making it as easy as possible, particularly if you have arthritis in your hand, we've got some really great recipes for that as well. Exercise. So exercise is one of the best ways to relieve the pain of arthritis. It makes your muscles stronger, your joints are much better supported. But I think it needs to be something that you do on a regular basis. And initially, when you first start, you might not notice any difference. It can take a while for the muscles to gain that strength, but once you continue, you persevere, you'll see yourself getting stronger and having more energy as a result. For example, if you were to go and see a physio, they quite often prescribe exercises as well. So again, we get a lot of people saying, oh, they've just given me exercises, but again, it's not going to be an overnight change. It can be very beneficial, but it's something that will happen over an extended period of time. If you get any pain, a little bit of pain after exercise, like a bit of an ache, like that is normal to an extent. But if you feel you have any stabbing or shooting or sudden pain, that isn't, and that's probably a sign that you've done too much for you. We always say there's no shame in starting small. It's much better to do 5-10 minutes of something than it is to go full pelt into the deep end and do a 45-minute swim, for example. It's really, you've got to kind of start small, and as your strength increases, you will be able to do more. And like I said, it doesn't have to be vigorous. We're not telling anyone to go out and run a marathon if they don't want to. It's just about finding something that keeps you active and keeps you moving. And again, it can be good fun. I say that in terms of social interaction as well, meeting other people. It can be really great. And again, places like YouTube, I think during COVID, we put together, if you prefer exercising at home, we put together like a playlist of some helpful YouTube sessions, because again, YouTube can feel a bit like Google. There's so many different things on there, it can be hard to keep track. So for people that enjoy doing that, we've got some resources for that as well. We also have these little cartoons on our website, which are really good for exercising certain parts of the body, like the knees and the shoulders and the hips. We do say, please don't, if you want to give them a go, don't go at the speed of the cartoon, because that depends on your internet connection. So you can do as many as you like, as many repetitions. It's like you can go at your own pace. They don't need, I think only 1 or 2 of them need equipment, so they're really accessible, particularly if you're getting into exercise and want to give something a go. So there are lots of different types of exercise. You have aerobic, so walking, dancing, swimming, anything that gets the heart rate up, and again, gardening. So in with that, I think it's really important to count the activity time you do with like household things as well, like gardening and cleaning. You use up a lot of energy. So if you are kind of thinking about doing another exercise later that day, kind of please bear in mind what you've already done. Again, thinking about different energy levels. You've then got resistance, so anything that can help to build muscle. So balancing, using weights, press ups as examples, and then things like yoga and Pilates. Well, Pilates again is really good for strength as well, and yoga is really good for flexibility. So if you do want to have a go at some of these exercises, they are all on our website as well. And pain management. So I think this diagram really describes quite well how exercise can help you manage your pain. So if we're in pain, it's like starting on the red side, if we're in pain, it can cause a fear of movement in the terms you think it might make it worse, or it's too uncomfortable for me to move. So because of that, you might move less, and then over time your muscles might get weaker and it makes it harder to move, and then you're in more pain, and it just keeps repeating itself. So again, it's kind of overcoming that fear, and by doing that, it's kind of moving little and often, kind of building up your strength to help you move more, noticing that your muscles will be stronger, hopefully having less pain and being able to move more. Because I think we all know, even if we're sitting at work and you're sitting over your computer all day and you can get really stiff, again, it's really important to get up and move. Again, I think we've also developed some desk-based stretches for that as well. That's on our website. I'm guilty of it myself. At the end of the day, my neck's all stiff, so it can be really uncomfortable. And again, with arthritis, I think the interesting thing is between acute pain and chronic pain. So acute pain, like a survival instinct, lets us know that something is wrong, touching something hot or an injury if you've fallen over, for example. But with chronic pain, it can feel very constant, and it doesn't. It's managed in a very different way. So in terms of movement, and I know not everyone does like to take too many painkillers, so that's something that's really important to take into account. But I think if you are on any medication, whether it's for pain or for arthritis or other conditions, your pharmacist is able to help with that, to kind of make sure that everything is being taken in the right order to kind of maybe help lessen any side effects. And I think as well, because there's such a negative language associated with pain, I think some of us fear pain as well. It can be quite scary, particularly if you're thinking, oh, it's not going away, what's wrong with me? It's getting worse and it gets better, and you don't know when it's gonna flare up. So again, we've got some really great videos about things like distraction and relaxation, because when we're stressed as well, that can cause a lot more kind of tension and discomfort in the body. So if you're interested in that, we have got some really great videos to help with relaxation as well. And again, we all experience pain differently, and that's really key to say. We've all got different pain thresholds. What's painful to me might not be painful to you. And it's really, like I said earlier, please don't kind of compare yourself. If you're experiencing any pain, please consult a healthcare professional, because the pain might not necessarily be caused by arthritis. And again, it's about, if you think that it is, or it's like pushing for that diagnosis. If you think it's inflammatory, it's a case of maybe pushing for blood tests to get the inflammation markers as well. And again, like I said, movement and increasing muscle strength can really help with pain, and so can like distraction techniques and kind of relaxation and mindfulness. Again, everyone will be different, and we always say this is kind of giving people a bit of a toolkit of what they can pick and choose, and also different therapies like hands-on manipulation, whether that's for an osteopath or massage or seeing a physio. So it's just about working out what's right for you. So we also look at mental health. It can be really difficult to stay positive when experiencing pain. We completely understand that, and it can also lead to isolation as well. So because obviously if people are finding if their life isn't as active, or perhaps they're not able to explain how the pain is making them feel, I think it could be very difficult. So we do kind of help people find out what's going on in their local area, whether that's talking therapies teams or things like that, anything that you can do, because I think we talk a lot about physical health, and for example, if you weren't able to move because you're in physical pain, I think people tend to do a lot more about that. But again, with mental health, there is a lot of support out there as well. So next steps, we do have online groups. They're run via Zoom. We kind of run them at different times of day. We also have a younger adult Zoom group, which is once a month in the evening as well for people of working age as well, which is really good. That's quite a new service for us. I think since the last time I spoke to you, that's been recently developed, and they're just a great place to talk with others and share tips and experiences with other people that understand as well. We also, on our website, I don't think I've listed them on here, but I can maybe send them to Ronan. We've got great resources. We've got recipes, videos, exercises, fact sheets, so many different things. We've got a monthly e-newsletter, and also we've got a newsletter for working age younger people as well. So I can maybe send some useful links so you don't have to just keep trawling through the website, because there's a lot on there. We do offer a membership service for people that want a bit more one-to-one support. So everything on our website is free, but the membership isn't. So that is a paid for service, but it's for people that want to speak with our weight management. So Martin, our dietitian, we've got a personalised member pathway for people that maybe want a bit more support if perhaps you've been newly diagnosed and want some help setting goals and with what you can maybe do to manage it, and things like that. Priority booking on our events, lots of different things. I think the offer is in the process of being updated, so please do keep an eye on our website as well if you want to have a look. So that's it from me. And again, there are contact details as well, so our website and our telephone number and our social media pages.